Welcome back to Inspiring Builds. I'm Dan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take this mailbox that was used temporarily during the construction phase that is now long overdue for a major upgrade and turn it into this custom mailbox post with an extra large mailbox to fit plenty of packages and mail. Watch through to see this wood burning technique and what oil is used for an excellent end result. If you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any of these tutorials. This mailbox measures 38 inches, and by USPS regulatory standards, your mailbox should be 41 inches to 45 inches from the street surface to the inside floor of the mailbox. You want to ensure you're building yours to standard, and I'm going to shoot for 41 inches. I will put a link in the description below of the build plans, along with everything used to make it easy for you. Remove the old mailbox post. If concrete is not added to the base, you can rock it back and forth and then pull it out. If your post is set in concrete, you will need to dig it out. I was fortunate that this post was not set using concrete. It's recommended that the hole diameter is 3 times the post diameter. A 6x6 post is 5.5 inches, so I made the hole 16.5 inches. I used scrap wood the same size as the dig hole and spray painted the border. Grab a shovel and tarp or something similar to place the sod and dirt on. I want to keep as much of the sod together as possible, as I will be placing it around the new post when complete. Proceed to dig a hole with a shovel, post hole digger, or in my case, a few tools, as this is clay and a lot of rocks. I used a combination of a mattock and shovel to break up a lot of the clay and rocks. As I got deeper, I used a spud bar or digging bar, and my wife helped me by using a post hole digger to remove the dirt so I wouldn't have to switch back and forth. This worked out to be the best combo, especially with removing larger stones at the end. I believe this was the toughest part, and we stopped at 28 inches. With wanting the post to go 24 inches deep, this allowed 4 inches of all-purpose gravel to be used for drainage. I checked my measurement again to ensure the new depth was 24 inches. I drew out the plan first to determine to cut the post height at 80 3/4 inches and the width at 32 3/4 inches. Again, I'll provide the plans along with the mailbox used to make it simple, as you need the mailbox dimensions before making any cuts. After measuring and marking the cut line, set the circular saw to the max cut depth. Align the blade with the cut line and position a speed square against the fence of the saw as a guide. Cut all 4 sides and then finish the small amount in the middle that the circular saw couldn't reach with the hand saw. Repeat the process for the longer 6x6 section of the post going into the ground. For accuracy, after the first cut, rotate the post and use the curve from the first cut to align the blade with the second cut. Position the speed square, back the blade out of the curve, then pull the trigger and make the cut. Finish again with the hand saw. Set the post in the hole and position it with the character I like the most in the front and side with the most oncoming traffic, marking it F for front and LN for left notch. These are the small details that matter when doing Shishugibon, along with picking out lumber that has a lot of character to start. Mark the shorter post at 15 inches and take a cut-off section of the post marking both sides and finish the lines with the speed square. This is where the mailbox will sit, and it's important when measuring to leave enough room for the post hardware and for the mailbox door to fully open. Now it's time to double check your measurements. I will make a half lap joint where half of the material is removed from each 6x6 and join flush together. Set the circular saw at its max cut depth and cut on each line, and then make a series of cuts close together. For a consistent cut depth, ensure to keep the saw flat and make full passes all the way through. I find it a bit easier using a speed square as a guide to speed up the process. Grab a hammer to knock out the scrap pieces and then use a chisel I will show shortly for clean out, and I finish by sanding it down with 80 grit. Once done, do a test fit. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo. A little taparooski, if you will. And this right here is a perfect tight fit. The circular saw didn't quite cut to the halfway point of 2 3/4 inches of a 6x6 post, so I measured the halfway point and used a chisel. A hand plane works good as well. After removing a couple of layers, make a pass along the halfway line and then clean it up. For a final end result, I used 80 grit sandpaper on a mouse sander. Make a mark at 65 inches, as after putting 24 inches in the ground, this will allow the bottom of the mailbox to be 41 inches off the ground. Set the horizontal post on the line and mark a line on each side for the half lap joint. Use the same process as the previous half lap joint. Use a chisel for clear out and take enough material out so it reaches the halfway mark. Do a test fit to ensure it's tight and take out more material if needed until both pieces are joined flush together. I bought this new torch that I will link below for doing Shishugi-ban on more than just small wood projects. It hooks directly to your propane tank. I grab a small spray water bottle for any small flare-ups and have a bucket of water along with a fire extinguisher if ever needed. I've never needed it fortunately and burn over gravel. Don't forget to wear gloves and eye protection. I place the lumber over a scrap pair of sawhorses. Make consistent passes and don't be afraid to burn the lumber, as my preferred end result is making it look like alligator skin. If you have someone watching for the first time, it's not uncommon to hear them make comments like this Yowzer Bowser one, as this torch puts out a lot of heat and makes quick work out of it. I missed the lighting part on the horizontal post, so I wanted to capture it here along with getting some close-up footage of the burn process. You can do a light pass if you want, which I've done in the past applying a light burn, but I prefer a deep burn charring the wood as the end result looks better to me, which is just a preference. Here's the gator look I was referring to earlier. A drill and this Nyalax flat brush is a game changer. I used to hand brush before switching over to this process, and it saved an incredible amount of time and energy. Ensure to wear safety glasses and a mask is critical, as it puts out a lot of black soot that you don't want to breathe in. I'm using a gray 80 grit brush here, but you can use the orange brush for 120 grit or the blue brush for 240 grit. The brushing technique is about just as important as the burn technique. I started brushing the full post, but quickly realized there is no need to brush the bottom 24 inches as it will be buried in the ground. A lot of people wonder how I get 3 different shades with a light, medium, and dark, and it's the technique of brushing. You can see here I have 3 colors going on, and to make it look more noticeable, hold the brush down longer on certain sections you want to make lighter. And you can see it pops more, making one shade look black, another like a coffee color, and the other light. Here is the finished brush process, and after applying the oil, this should pop, showing the wood grains and look really nice. Before setting the post in concrete, stamp down the gravel base. I cut some scrap lumber to use as stakes and ripped down a scrap 2x4 to brace the post to the stakes. Hammer in the stakes, and I like to hold the brace up to determine the location of the stake. Once the stakes are in, For your sake, spend a few dollars if you don't have one of these post levels. People ask how my posts are so straight, and this is how. Set the post level on the post, pull the band around the post, and attach it on the hook. Once attached, adjust the post so it's plumb on both sides, and with this post level, you can do so adjusting the post instead of trying to adjust the post and using a level putting it on both sides to ensure the post is plumb in two directions. Clamp down the braces to the post and stakes. Double check that the post is still plumb. Lastly, check that the distance from the street surface to the bottom of the mailbox is at least 41 inches. The grass here is the same height, and this is right at 41 inches as planned. The weather couldn't decide if it wanted to rain or be super sunny. I taped off the bottom few inches of the base above ground as I did not apply the oil to the post yet and wanted to avoid concrete from hitting the post. The red Quikrete bags are easy where it doesn't require mixing. Simply pour in the bag of dry mix into the hole and add water until the powder is saturated. I used 3 bags for this post and applied water after each bag. I left room for the top 3 to 4 inches of the hole to fill with the sod that was removed. The concrete sets in 20 to 40 minutes. I use boiled linseed oil to protect and seal the wood. Test on a scrap piece, or I tested on the section where the mailbox would be placed as it would never be seen. Simply pour on the oil or soak it into the rag and wipe it in. Wait 5 to 10 minutes and then wipe off the excess. This gave the look I was going for and made the grains pop. This is why I mentioned earlier to position the post in the hole with the character you like most facing the views you prefer. After 30 minutes, I removed the clamps, braces, stakes, and post level. If you're like me, I was initially skeptical of the red bags and just pouring in dry concrete without mixing, but I gave it a test and this 6x6 post is solid. Now that the post is set and we beat the rain, the rest of the boiled linseed oil can be applied to the post. Apply a good amount when wiping it on and let it soak into the wood grain for 5 to 10 minutes and then wipe off any excess. Doing a time lapse will allow you to knock it out and still talk to your neighbors that has any questions during the process. There are several reasons why I decided to Shishuggi bond the post. The benefit is that it's water resistant. The hardened charred exterior of the boards repel water as well as it repels insects and other small pests because the burning of the wood removes elements of the wood that are food sources. Lastly, it lasts a long time and I like the look of it. When building anything, it feels good when you get to the stages of adding trim, or hardware in this case, to make it start looking good. This post is getting a heavy-duty T-strap that will be installed on each side of the post, along with this black heavy-duty hardware. Position the straps and clamp it down. Use a 1/4-inch drill bit and pre-drill the hole. I used an impact driver to make quick work driving the fastener in. Repeat the process to complete the install of the strap and then install the second strap on the other side. Add 6x6 post caps. These are an easy add-on that will provide a finished look to the end cuts of the post on the top and each end. Set it on the end of the post evenly and tap it down. It comes with the included hardware. Screw in the post cap to the post with 1 screw on each side. Repeat the process for the other 2 post caps. For added strength and to give it the look we were going for, I used a black powder coated steel bracket that is 3 inches wide by 10 inches deep by 10 inches high. My thought was using the same fasteners as used on the T-straps, however the mounting holes in the bracket were too small. I was going to drill them out, however using an impact driver as shown was able to remove enough material to make them work. Position and clamp down the bracket to the post. Pre-drill the holes with a 1/4 inch drill bit and then use the impact driver to drive in the fasteners. Use a longer drill bit extension to get into tighter spots. Now on to installing the mailbox. Lay the mailbox upside down and the distance from the underneath side to the top of the lip is 7/8 of an inch. The inner mounting holes are roughly 4 inches and these are what will be used since the mailbox mounting board being used is 6 inches wide. Before installing the mailbox mounting board, do a dry fit to ensure it covers the holes with enough space to secure the mailbox as well as it sits flush with the lip. Next, measure the distance from the back of the mailbox where it would sit on the post to where the mounting board needs to be installed. Ensure to account for overhang on the sides when measuring. It only makes sense to shishuggi bond the mailbox mounting board as well. I'm doing a deep burn, however after burning I will install it as is without brushing or applying oil as I did with the post. For small flare-ups like this is the reason why I have the spray water bottle. The end result will look like gator skin. Use the same 2.5 inch measurement earlier to install the mounting board. I use 2-inch star-headed multi-purpose screws that has a fast bite tip, drives quick, and countersinks themselves. Secure the board in the middle to allow for plenty of space for the mailbox. Before securing the mailbox to the mounting board, ensure the mailbox fully opens and has enough clearance. I use a right angle drill bit attachment along with the same 2-inch screws and a washer to make this super quick and easy. The mailbox was installed level and I used all 4 mounting holes with this being an extra large mailbox. The mailbox opened and closed nicely with no adjustments needed. I had extra soil that I put down and with this being a 6x6 post, I wanted to fill it as high as possible with concrete to make it solid, which made the soil flush with the ground. I then put back the sod and was fine with having a grate away from the post. I really appreciate you watching. The mailbox meets the USPS regulations and make sure to watch the next video on installing floating modern mailbox numbers to finish off the mailbox. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I release new videos.